Hello, my name is Natalia Maldonado and welcome to Good Morning Cetys. Today we'll have an interesting program with Elon Musk talking about risk-taking, a pretty cold weather forecast, and international news. But firstly, we'll have Ulises Aviles, who is going to show us an unfortunate event.
Hi, I am Ulises Aviles and I'm here at the place where the crash happened, in Paseo de los Héroes in Lincoln's Roundabout. The driver's, whose name I'm not allowed to say, is at the hospital right now. The accident took place today at 2:30 a.m. The driver was getting out from a party being drunk and he decided to drive by himself. And he didn't even move 200 meters from his party when he crashed his car into a wall. Apparently no one else got injured. However, this whole accident could be prevented if the driver was responsible enough in order to order a taxi or an Uber instead of driving drunk, because that's what happened. As sad as it sounds, the driver took the risk to drive drunk from a bar and crashed his car into a wall. Even though he was the only person injured, he risked a lot of people's life while taking that risk. I personally hope that he is fine at the hospital, but I also hope that he learned from his experience in order to prevent it from happening again. We, the Good Morning Cetys team, will let you know if we know anything else about the accident. Back with you, Natalia.
In life, we take a lot of risks without knowing. That's why Elon Musk is going to talk to us about his journey in his life and how he faces risks as his decisions. Elon Musk is an entrepreneur and businessman who founded X.com in 1999, which later became PayPal. He also founded SpaceX in 2002 and Tesla Motors in 2003. Musk became a multi-millionaire in his late 20s when he sold his startup company named Zip2, showing that he has too much to give to the world with his companies. Welcome, Musk. It's an honor to have you in our show. How are you?
I'm doing great. It always feels good to accomplish my goals and make other people happy in the process.
Good to know that you are feeling very well. Firstly, I want to know if you agree that in order to grow, you need to take risks.
Sure, I couldn't agree more with that statement. Back when I was younger, I worked for years to build my own company called PayPal. But when I had the chance to sell it, I did. It was a very high risk. However, I had already my plan structured in order to prevent it from failing. Because even though you are taking a risk, you want it to be as less risky as possible, if that makes sense.
Absolutely right. I hadn't thought of it until you mentioned it. So, what are the most significant risks you have taken?
The one that I just mentioned is one of the most significant in my life. But more recently, the SpaceX team took a risk that didn't go that well. I'm pretty sure that most of you heard of the rocket's explosion. And obviously that wasn't what we expected for that mission. And we honor those astronaut lives every day. But you have to learn from your mistakes and continue by your path.
That's very interesting because your whole life changed with those remarkable decisions. So, you think that your life will be different if you wouldn't take those risks?
Well, first of all, I wouldn't be here at Good Morning Cetys with you. But talking more seriously, I maybe would be working at a regular tech company, or maybe I would even still be living in South Africa. I don't really know. But what I do know is that my entire life would be very different. So I am very proud of myself for taking those risks that took me to where I'm at right now.
Wow, those risks change your life. To finish this interview, would you like to send a message to our young audience?
Yes, and I was actually hoping that you asked for it, because nowadays there are a lot of brilliant, creative, young, and amazing people that think that their dreams will always be that, just dreams. But in reality, they are the only one responsible for making them come through. And They may be afraid of those scary risks as I was, but trust me, life is short and you will not always have the same energy as you do right now. So please do yourself a favor and don't let anyone to tell you that your goals are too big for you, because that means that they are not able to accomplish them, but it doesn't mean that you are not.
Thank you too much for your time and for sharing your experience in life. As Mus said, we need to face risk in order to grow. This cannot be ignored due to the fact that every day we make decisions, and these decisions bring risks. Hello again, now we'll have our section about politics. Today's news is about Trump proposing to limit students' visas to 2 years to citizens of 59 countries. That means that foreign students cannot be able to study at the United States. The proposal will affect citizens and people born in countries on the State Department's terrorism list, including Iran, Syria, Sudan, and North Korea. But this limitation of visas is going to affect African countries because Trump has a history of seeking to discriminate against people from these African countries. Wow, these possible politics can affect thousands of students, but for now, we can only wait to see if it's proven. Now we have our interesting international news with Ulises Aviles.
Hi, I'm Ulises and I'm back with you more excited than ever because the new lineup from Apple just came out a few days ago and they are as good as always, software and hardware wise. However, I would rather prefer to talk about Apple's actual decision to launching them in this particular period of time and the success that they are having with the pre-orders. Because right now the whole world is in crisis. And whether you're a millionaire or a normal person, chances are you have lost money in the last couple of months. And if you are a world-class company that mostly depend on the sales of your products, you may not want to release them in this period of time with the whole pandemic thing. However, Apple took the risk and did it. And surprisingly, they broke their last year's record with the sales of their iPhone 12, just as if no crisis was hitting the world. So, as Elon just said, if you believe in the success of your idea, do it, because you may be a step away from breaking sales records in crisis times, just as Apple did. Back with you, Natalia.
I cannot wait to buy that new phone. Next, Natalia Maldonado is going to tell us about a hurricane that had to flee some cities from our country. Hurricane Delta has made landfall near Puerto Morelos, Mexico's Caribbean coast. It is said that the weather was deteriorating quickly over the northeastern Yucatan coast, an area popular with tourists from Mexico, and thousands of tourists and residents had moved into shelters for safety. More than 150 shelters have opened the doors to people seeking refuge from the storm in the resorts of Cancun. That hurricane was very scary. That's why for our next segment, we will have the weather forecast. Next week's weather is going to be pretty cold. Tomorrow, Saturday, will be the hottest day from the whole week at 32 degrees Fahrenheit, but still it's going to be cold. And the coldest day will be Thursday at 21 degrees Fahrenheit. From Saturday through Monday, you can go out and practice an extreme sport like skiing. This sport is one of the fastest non-motorized sport on land. Skiers can ski faster than a car, and this has been proved. So go out, have fun with precautions. Talking about skiing, next we will have Ulises Aviles with a segment of sports.
Now let's talk about football. There are teams that are doing pretty good this season, like Pittsburgh Steelers and Seattle Seahawks, that remain unbeaten up to this point. However, have you thought about what it takes to be an NFL superstar? I'm pretty sure that most of you have not, because it takes a pretty strong mindset, a lot of discipline and practice, but above all, a huge risk that every player takes when playing the game. Because even though they are professionals, anyone can commit a mistake that results in a serious injury to another player or even the death in the worst case. But they have a true passion for the sport and for what they do, and that is why they are still there. That has to be a tough decision to make, and maybe not everyone would take the same risk, no matter how passionate you are for what you do. So it is worth to admire that even though they are players that are better than others, everyone is risking their lives while playing the game. And that is why throwing matters. Back with you, Natalia.
That's all from us and for now. It was an honor for us to inform you more about risk taking. Thank you so much for your company on another beautiful day. And see you tomorrow with more news here on Good Morning Cetys with Natalia Maldonado and Ulises Aviles, always informed of the top news.